Hi, Jeff Cotrupe from Stratecast, a division of Frost & Sullivan. We're here at IBM Pulse 2011, and Nigel Fortlage of GHY International, we look at it as providing sort of a real network management sort of a discipline on energy. We like that because network management has to take into account all probabilities, all situations, almost policy management driven, and the fact that IBM is doing that with the energy area is really, really fascinating to me.
Regardless of how companies go about achieving it, the reality is every organization today is being faced with that challenge to be more green, to be more sustainable.
Right.
So for us, it just so happens within the direction that we've gone with the virtualization strategy that we've initiated with IBM and using their Power VM technology, that this just dovetails in, because one of the keys is when you look at the tools is if you start finding that, I'm going to shop around for this portion of my environment or that portion, do the tools and the management tools actually deal with all of those vendors? Everybody talks about standards.
Yeah.
And so the standards, the interface and get updates aren't all necessarily equal.
Right.
So in our case, because we have worked with folks like IBM and we've put in an IBM infrastructure, an IBM storage infrastructure, worked with IBM Brocade for an IBM Brocade networking infrastructure.
Oh.
Now I know, and of course VM with the Intel side, all of them talk to systems directors. So I know that I can choose one tool that drives a footprint that will help me manage all of those as we continue to grow our infrastructure needs as an organization as we grow.
I like that. So future-proofing, okay, in terms of your technology. I'm going to mention something else to you now. And for anyone who might be watching this video, I know nothing about your lease and however many years it might be, but the other thing that it struck me was that you're future-proofing your company as an energy consumer. Let's say in the future you do own your own facilities, you have your own real estate concerns that aren't leased. Wouldn't it be a lot better and smarter to be well positioned from an energy standpoint? So I mean, that's what I like about it and hearing you talk.
Right, I can't but agree with you. That's certainly an evolution. And I would suggest to you though that the reality is that as we evolve, the whole aspect of now going to outside providers. Today we use the buzzword cloud. A few years ago we called it utility computing.
Yeah.
Regardless what we call it, the evolution is clear. And so the idea is, if I have that information, it allows me to negotiate and talk to these folks. If I want to start talking tomorrow about global operations, I now have a context to say, by the way, this is our footprint. It's not just a speeds and feeds, I need this kind of server, that kind of operating system. I also have these environmental requirements, because at the end of the day, when you start taking aspects of your data center and working with outside partners, and again, whether it's compliance, whether it's sustainability, you have to ensure that the vendor understands what your goals are in order to achieve a mutual benefit.
No, for sure. One of the things I wanted to ask you about too, and another thing that I kind of found very interesting, sort of the drill down versus system-wide view that Active Energy Manager provides that I was interested in. The fact that, on a device-by-device basis, you can ratchet that power up and down as needed, and allocate your resources effectively from an energy standpoint, in a similar way to what we're doing in virtualization and allocating resources that way. So I like that a lot. What would you say about some of those specific features?
When you look forward into the future, I think that, if I go beyond just the simplicity of, managing or understanding the heating, cooling, power consumption issue, the logical next step is actually managing the physical environments. And, I'd hearken this back to the number of people, if you look at your infrastructure and you talk about administrators and so forth, whether it's the Windows administrator, your Unix administrator, your mainframe, your storage.
Right.
They all have operating systems. They all have management techniques.
Right.
Well, as the tools become much more mature and much more well-rounded in terms of what they're doing, now all I need is a systems director administrator who can manage the Windows environment via systems director, the Power VM environment through systems director.
Okay.
And so in my case, I'm not looking to reduce headcount, but I'm looking to protect that I don't grow it. So again, I'm future-proofing that we're thinking about also the skills we need in the future so that we don't grow it and say we're growing this little fiefdom within the organization of IT we need all these warm bodies, because no, we're doing it very smartly, we're doing it very educated, and we're ensuring that everything we do helps us evolve that mission without detracting from ultimately the folks that deliver the service to the customers that generate the immediate revenue. After all, we do support the organization with the ability to be creative and help them grow. This is another way to help go right to the bottom line and ensure that we're protecting the organization.
No, I love that. And so, boy, is that a long way from just talking about a little bit of energy consumption. You're talking about training and resources and corporate strategy and sustainability. I appreciate you getting that. And I should have mentioned that. That is obviously such a big theme out in the industry.
Right.
And, and you're helping create some momentum for that in your own organization.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate this. This has been, I can't tell you what a great talk this has been. And once again, Jeff Cotrupe of Stratecast, a division of Frost & Sullivan. Again, we're at Pulse 2011. And Nigel Fortlage of GHY International. I can't thank you enough for a great talk. Thank you
you're
so
very
much.
welcome.
Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you.
All right.